getting tea for the senior reporters.
Yes.
But in fact, what we do in England is that they give to the local newspaper reporters a little village within the town, and that became my beat.
Oh, that's nice.
And that meant covering everything from flower shows to funerals, weddings, and births each week, and calls on the little village police station and fire department to know what was happening in the tiny little village that I worked in.
Oh, I bet that was a lot of fun.
And a lot of hard work.
Yes, of course.
I was too young to drive, so I had to do it all on a bicycle.
Really? All on bicycle. And then did you get promotions within the...
Well, I stayed with that newspaper for 3 years, and by that time I had started to do freelance pieces for the national newspapers in Fleet Street in central London.
Yeah.
And then at 19, the Daily Mail asked me to come and join them. And I was the youngest reporter ever to work for a national newspaper in England at 19.
Were you really? Oh, I think that's...
And they gave me the assignment of covering both crime and show business.
Oh, there it began. Uh-huh.
And it was due to a meeting with a married couple who are still friends of mine to this day and who now live in Beverly Hills that I was invited on the opening night of Anthony Daly's musical Stop the World, I Want to Get Off.
Yes.
And that was the first evening that I really brushed shoulders, as it were, with what show business is all about. And
It really turned you on.
fascinated me, and I wanted to understand more about what made personalities tick.
Oh.
And from that point onwards, that was the area of journalism that I specialized in.
How old were you then, Robert?
19.
You were 19 when you met...
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then from there you went to...
Well, I stayed on the Daily Mail in England for 2 years, and because we have a rather antiquated pay system in Britain, where everything is junior and senior, and breaks down at the age of 28, 29, by 21 I was earning as much money as I could earn until I turned 29.
I see.
So I asked my editor if I could take a 2-year leave of absence, and I flipped a coin, heads for America, tails for Australia, and everybody now knows that the coin came up heads for the United States.
And
I never went back after the 2 years.
No, really? Never went back. Then what did you do when you first came here on your trip?
Well, basically my stock in trade is writing. Even though the face now and again appears on television, it's really sitting at the typewriter with blank sheets of paper that I enjoy most.
Oh, really?
So when I first came here, I worked a little while for the Daily News. In fact, I sold shoes at Lord & Taylor on Fifth Avenue in New York for 2.5 months until I could get a job on one of the papers. I used to run every lunchtime.
Were you good
Instead
at
of eating lunch at the department store cafeteria, I used to pound on the doors of the newspapers in Manhattan. And then finally, because of the clippings that I bought from England, the Daily News hired me, and I went to work with them for really a very short time, but it was just enough to get my feet wet in how the business of American journalism ran. So from that point onwards, I was what you would term a freelance journalist, and I would just take assignments from different magazines, both here in the United States and overseas, to write interviews with celebrities.
Oh.
And
You know what you pointed out here is that you really have to want to do it, don't you? To persist and succeed.
And you must never give up. I mean, if there was any advice, it is that if you really have a goal, if you really have an ambition, then you must never give up. And it's more than just really wanting to achieve what you want as a career, but it's suffering a little bit to make sure that you achieve it. It's not a case of shrugging your shoulders and going only half the journey to get the goal.
Right.
You've got to go the whole route, and if that really means that sometimes you've got to tighten the belt, then you must suffer just a little bit for what is the chosen goal.
You have to give it your all.
Yeah, and you've also really got to be convinced that you can win at what you want to do. You must not rely on other people to say you should be doing it. You've got to be able to tell yourself that with conviction.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy,
So you've really got to believe in your goal.
Yes, it takes a lot of strength. And then after that, what did you do?
I stayed doing that. I've really done that all my life. To me,
Freelance magazine.
writing words for newspapers New York, but like I do now, I traveled the world for that show.
Oh, I see.
And it really is 7 days a week of 20-hour days, sometimes 24-hour days.
Wow, Robin, don't you get tired?
Of course I do. It's a physical tiredness, and many's a night when 2 or 3 hours of sleep suffices. But
wow.
When you've got something that you enjoy doing, some of the fatigue goes away out of the enjoyment. But yes, it is. I often joke that I travel so much. I've done over 300,000 miles this year so far.
Really?
For instance, next weekend I go to Rio de Janeiro. I fly down on a Saturday night on the red eye. I arrive on the Sunday morning. I film all day Sunday, and I fly back on the Sunday night red eye to be back in New York on Monday morning for work.
Oh, it surely sounds
It
exciting.
doesn't sound exciting, but that is a lot of... When you do that 52 weeks a year, it begins to...
Really?
I think mainly the biggest change is his need to be aware. He wants to be aware. He wants to know if he's being taken. I think finally he's decided that once and for all he wants to know everything about anything, and that, it's important to him how his money is spent nowadays, particularly after a bad recession.
Right, he doesn't seem to spend it as readily as he used to, right?
No, not anymore. Yeah. Believe me, I know.
Yeah, and that's true of men and women, don't you think?
Very true. Particularly, I think through Women's Lib, women are becoming a lot more aware of things. I think people are starting to realize women are a big facet in this country, which they haven't been in. Which they've been for many years, but never given the credit for.
Hey, that's interesting. Your name's what?
Steve Hall.
Hi, Steve. And you live in Manhattan, do you? Or?
No, I live up in Westchester.
In Westchester,
Croton on the Hudson.
Well, I think your opinions were very sensible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
Do you think people are spending as much money as they used to?
I spend a lot of money.
Yeah? Do you think they're spending more or less?
More.
More, huh? Yeah. Do you think that people want more for their money than they used to?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for talking to us. Your name is what?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Jimmy, you live in Manhattan, around here?
I live in the Bronx.
In the Bronx. Thanks,
Jimmy. I just
Jimmy.
worked up there.
All righty. Bye-bye, Jimmy.
Bye.
Hi there.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Okay.
Do you think people are spending as much money as they used to?
I can only answer that for myself. Last year I was spending more because I had more. And I know this year I'm spending less because I've got less. I don't know what more I could say.
Yeah, that's right. You think things will get better, though?
Well, I sure hope they will get better. I think it's turning around now. It looks to be getting better. I was out of work for 9 months. I just got called back in June.
Oh, gee, that's rough.
Yeah, I got knocked off. I got knocked off my job in July. No, in August. And I wasn't called back to go to work until June.
Oh,
I
that's
started.
miserable, yeah. That's terrible. Well, we thank you a lot. Your name is what?
Marvin Hennenfeld.
And you live around Manhattan, Marvin?
No, I live in Jackson Heights, which is not too far away.
Not too far. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Hi there, how are you doing?
All right.
You around doing your errands, are you?
Yeah, off and on.
Do you think that people are spending as much money as they used to?
Not really, because now, you know, people are starting to save, smart people. Then again,
Yeah,
not.
and rich people will have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now let's see, you live in Manhattan, do you?
The Bronx.
You live in the Bronx. And your name's what?
Tony Jenkins.
Tony, what was the last name?
Jenkins.
Tony, do you think that people will spend more money later on, or do you think it'll get worse, or what?
Well, yeah, I think they will.
You
Yeah.
do? So
Yeah.
you're optimistic about it, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Listen, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
This is a chat with Glendora, everybody, and we're out on the street at 53rd and Lexington Avenue having a very good time. I hope you are, too. And from Manhattan, folks are over in Paterson, New Jersey, just like that, through the electron wizardry here of the 20th century. That's Tom O'Leary of the A&P Corporation.
There we go.
Well, that was pretty good. Thanks for showing the walks. They really look good. Hope you stop?
Sure. Do a little song for us, man. Come on. Jingle bells, something, happy birthday.
Nettie should be here. She could sing the song.
And you gotta chew this now, not just throw it out when the flavor's gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Nettie. Very much.
For two, and one for Diane. Well, it took that long.
Wow.
Well, Howie, did you hear about how the telephone company chickened out?
Oh, they sure did.
Huh?
Thanks.
They sure did.
catch every other
every
meeting.
Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
Catch every other.
Well, folks, I would like to point out to you that on page 25, you see what started it all, and you see the wrongs as they are listed. And on page 26, you see what I would like to correct it. And then, go to page 37, when I'd like to thank Mayor Andorano for spending 3 hours of valuable time trying to resolve this. That's on page 37. We had a 2-hour meeting in his office. And this is what Mr. Zimmer agreed to. And I was to send a letter listing this, and I was to get it back from Mr. Zimmer signed, and my editing would be resuming on St. Patrick's Day. Well, this never happened. This never happened on page 37. Instead, on pages 64, 65, oh, excuse me, on pages, yes, thank you, on pages 50 and 51, on pages 50 and 51 is what I got from Mr. Zimmer. And on pages 64 and 65, my answer to Mr. Zimmer's letter.
Did I get that letter?
No, you haven't, nobody's got it. It's all got its name.
Glendora, as I understand this, and you and I spoke, if Mr. Zimmer would agree to what he agreed to in the meeting with you and the supervisor, you would be here this evening, right?
Yes.
Well, then why doesn't he agree to edit your stuff?
Good question.
Legally, do we have a leg to stand on, Arthur?
I have to rescind. He's not that familiar with the contract.
But, Pat, you met with Mr. Zimmer in Glendora.
Right.
And he agreed to do certain things, and now he's reneging.
Well, maybe there's a reason why he had to take it. Mr. Zimmer, could you please try to tell us why this position is different than it was in the meeting that we had?
Well, it's not different. The letter that Glendora refers to that I sent to her is there's an explanation in there as to what's causing some of the technical problems that she's complained about. I give her 3 choices. The first one of which is that we will abide by the agreement that we made, but the other part that was missing from the letter that she sent me was her responsibilities as an access user to follow the rules and to behave in a cooperative and creative manner.
What are the rules that you're talking about that she's not following?
At the beginning, when Adam Russell had the franchise, part of the process as required by the State Cable Commission is you have to establish access rules. There is a set of rules which were drawn up in conjunction with the Harrisson Cable Committee at that time, and they've been in effect since that time.
But you're saying that she is violating your rules?
Yes, and we've made exceptions to those rules willingly, and in fact, our staff people have worked voluntarily very hard with her to help her, but when, in doing so, it's created other problems which are technical in nature, which relate to the kind of equipment she wants to use and the kind of equipment that we have available. And it's kind of
What you're saying is that the two of you are not on the same page.
Same page.
Well, she has certain equipment that she wants to use, and you have certain equipment that she can't use, so apparently you two aren't on the same page.
Well, the second choice is to use our equipment as any access user would and learn how to operate and use it. Or the third choice is to do what she does right now, which is supply us with a finished show, which we air. We've never denied her access time. So,
What she does, is it really complicated to edit what she does?
well, she's trying to skip a step rather than take her 8mm tape and edit or dub that onto 3/4-inch tape and then edit it, or 1/2-inch tape and then edit it. She's trying to edit directly onto the 3/4, which requires modification of our access equipment and time to do that, and it causes some glitches in the tape.
Why don't you get the same equipment that he has,
No,
and then you can solve your problem?
I object to all of that. saves them studio time, and it saves them personnel time, and it saves them equipment usage. I have my own equipment. I go out and I edit my program on location. I shoot it and I edit it. I have state-of-the-art equipment. And what I do is a benefit to CBSI. And,
He's disagreeing to that, though.
well, he disagrees with that, but the whole thing is what started it. And this, what he is
Wait,
saying.
excuse me, let me interrupt you. I didn't hear him disagree to doing that.
No, he makes me choose between one of three things.
But the first one is exactly what you want. I'm just asking you to be cooperative and simple.
Well, I'm
If
asking.
I understand this, she does her own shooting out on the field by herself. You want your people to do the shooting?
No, not at all. Access, the purpose of access, the very heart of access is for citizens like Glendora to have a forum, so to speak. As part of the franchise agreement, we agreed to purchase equipment, which we did. We supply people to train access users to use it, which we do. And then we have several access users that check out that equipment, they use it. The purpose is for them to be able to produce and edit and air their own shows. Glendora has her own equipment, which is fine, but the problem arises when it comes to editing.
That's the problem.
It's a narrow issue, but it's gone to the State Cable Commission, and their opinion was either follow the rules or don't use the facility.
What would it take you to change some of your equipment to comply to his?
I think that,
I
and I
want a
mentioned,
chance to state what the
you
problem is.
will be, you will. I will give you the opportunity.
That's not what the problem is. This is a
The-
cover-up of the problem they created.
You will have your opportunity. All I'm interested in knowing is that Glendora can continue to operate with the equipment she owns and work with the equipment at your place. You have a problem.
Well, Glendora's on suspension from using the
Aside
facility.
from that,
Yeah.
aside.
Well, that suspension was caused by her behavior and verbal abuse of employees when it didn't work out the way she wants it.
Okay,
She will agree.
but I'm more interested in answering the answer to my question. Can she continue to use her equipment and then come into the studio and have your equipment then adapt her end result so that it can be shown on our cable? In other words, what you've been doing right along, you're not denying her that.
Right, that's choice number one.
Okay, I want you all to look at page 25, what started it. What started it was not keeping their appointments, being late for their appointments, and not having the equipment in operating order when I got there, and going back on their word and harassing me. That's what started it. And I don't think any of you would take that from anyone.
You say harassing you, what do you mean?
For 28 minutes, Matt stood there harassing me when I was trying to edit. Saying, Glendora, if you realize this, you realize that, and so forth. He harassed me for 28 minutes. From 5:32 to 6 o'clock. And ruined my whole editing. I had to go somewhere else and do the whole thing over. That was number 5. And that's on page 25.
Mr. Zimmer, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Obviously, there's a litany here of complaints and county complaints, and this obviously is a personal issue, more than it is an equipment issue, if I understand. I don't think we have an equipment problem. I think we have a human problem. I think we have a people problem, from what I read here. I was of the opinion this personal issue was resolved with the supervisor at a meeting, because we thought it was put to sleep. Obviously, something had transpired since that meeting, which makes it surface again. We have a Citizen Cable TV Committee. At least we had it, and I think it's still in existence. You seem to have made a response related to a difference between Glendora and a member of your staff, and you unilaterally, or at least it's accusing you of unilaterally sentencing punishment. She's been ostracized or been put on probation, whatever your phrase. Should this matter not be settled, since this is public access, by Al committee if there is a dispute or a difference? Isn't that a more appropriate forum for deciding these issues rather than you as the manager to decide it? I'm asking a question, I don't know the answer.
Well, we have a responsibility to govern the facilities and the use of them and to exercise control of them and enforce the rules as they're set out. A disruptive situation occurred which led to this suspension.
But what
We
started
don't know
the
what caused it.
disruption?
Excuse me, you're perfect, but we don't know the cause. Normally it's due process here, and I'm wondering if we have to, we don't know who the right or wrong party was. You just presumed, and maybe you were right, maybe you're wrong, that the wrong party was Glendora. Is there another forum that this issue could have been referred to be responded to more responsibly? I mean, this is public access we're talking about.
Right, you're right in one part in that it's a human problem more than an equipment problem. With a spirit of cooperation, this should not be before the town board.
That's right.
It's terrible.
That's why I want to get away from town board, because we're not here to discuss the personal rights or wrongs of something which took place months ago, and I don't think we'll ever resolve it. There'll be these three sides to the story.
It was only after investigating with witnesses which are not connected with the company that I believe that the complaint was valid. In answer to your question, is there an appropriate forum or governing body? Not that I know. The Cable Commission certainly gets involved, and Glendora has filed a complaint with the Cable Commission, which is the state body which regulates cable television.
No, I mean our community. I mean, I'm asking a question. I'm trying to get us out of this posture. And neither should you be in it, because quite frankly, you know, you are management. You're the company. I mean, with all due respect, you are the company. Can our cable committee, is it the role of our cable committee, Mr. Schreier and Mr. Castiglia, to serve in these kinds of differences, or can they be asked to serve in this capacity? This should have been resolved